All right, so I'm going to kind of talk about the story and give you highlights. And then along the way, as I mentioned some of this stuff, you kind of bring up things that kind of bothered you. And I'll try to bring it back up, or Michelle can click on it and bring it back up. But Amy Bradley, as I said earlier, her mom, Eva, and Ron and Brad all went on a vacation in 1998 on Royal Caribbean's Rhapsody of the Seas. And they're 71 and 72 years old now. They have not gave up. She went missing, and I'll kind of go over the story on that, how that happened. But she just had gotten a new apartment. She just had gotten a dog. So she was
an English bulldog.
Yeah, she just graduated from college. She played college basketball at Longwood. I think that's the name of the college in Virginia. I may be wrong one. I got it written down here somewhere. One of the main suspects in this is a guy named Alistair Douglas, or they called him Yellow.
He in the band.
Played the bass in the band. And, he said Royal Caribbean asked them as they got through playing to go hang out and dance with the crowd. Interact with them, party with them a little bit. Don't get touchy with them, but go have a good time with them. So he said that's what his job was, to go flirt with the girls. So the very first day was on 3/21 was in San Juan, and the cruise director was a gentleman named Kurt Detwiller, and he was kind of cold. I thought he's kind of cold. I know he said, well, that's just the way it is, but he made some comments that he's catching a lot of heat. And there are some people suspecting that is he in on a ring with other people on the ship of trying to, sex traffic, smuggle girls off the ships. Right. She went, I'll tell where she went missing here shortly here, but so they were awarded a cruise. Both parents worked in the insurance business and won a free cruise. So a lot of the insurance companies people were on there, including the COO or the person that owned the insurance company. So everything was going good. And then they got to day 3, and this was Aruba. So great time. They went to Aruba, had a great day there.
That we love.
Hung out there. Yeah, we've been to these ports. So it kind of brings things back up to us along the way, how pretty it is, how nice it is. And we only see the nice parts. You don't see the bad parts of these places.
Sure.
And then at formal night, a camera guy come up and said, hey, can I take a picture of you and your boyfriend? And it was really Amy and Brad, their brothers and sisters, 23 and 21-year-old. They took pictures of them. And then it was elegant or formal night. So at formal night, they said that the staff was really interested in Amy that night. Anything that she wanted, they would basically, the family joked about it. Whatever she wanted, she would get. Right. And they took a lot of interest in where she was at and everything else. So also they did dancing under the stars that night. And Brad, the brother, who's 21 years old, he won the limbo contest. So he gave his sister the crown that they won. And then guess what? They went and hit the disco. The whole family went to the disco that night. And the parents got sleepy about 1 o'clock, and they went back to the room about 1 o'clock a.m. and went to bed and left the 2 kids still there. So Amy's dancing with somebody. We'll mention who it is in a little bit. And Brad was kind of by himself over to the side. So Brad leaves the party or the disco, goes up on the deck for a few minutes, about 30 minutes, and then he goes back to the room. And it showed that he clocked in at 3:30 a.m.
When he badged it.
That's a lot of you that have cruised in here before know that the badge only activates and shows the time when you go in, not when you go out. I don't know if you knew that or not, but it doesn't tell you the time you leave. Only the time activate to go in.
That you use your badge to get in.
And then Amy came right in shortly after, about 3:40 a.m. Right. Like 5-10 minutes left after him. The brother went out. Brad went out on the balcony. Sister Amy came out there with him. Mm-hmm. He got a little bit.
They were a little intoxicated.
They were a little tipsy. Mm-hmm. The beer tab showed, or drink tab showed, that she had I think it was 7 beers over 9 hours, from 6 p.m. to 2 or 3 in the morning. So it was a long time, really. And they said she was kind of used to drinking. She was in college, just had got out of college. She drank quite a bit at college. So they said she'd only had, that we know of. Now, other people may have bought and gave her one, but what was purchased was only 7 beers over a 9-hour period. So they went out on the deck, hung out for a little while. The whole family said Amy was terrified of the heights, and she can swim, but she can swim very well. She was a lifeguard, but she was terrified of the ledge. And even though it was already
and
pretty,
sea creature,
she's kind of short. It was kind of, it was kind of around her chest, above her chest, but she didn't want to get near the railing. So she's not, people come up and say, well, I think she committed suicide or jumped overboard.
Her brother said she was 5'6".
Yeah, 5'6", which is not too short. But she would not even get close to the rail because they were taking pictures, and she didn't want to be near the rail at all. She didn't want to touch it. And she saw him looking over the rail and leaning over looking, and it freaked her out. She's like, get away from there. So she's not the one to kind of want to hang out there. And it's so high up that she can't we don't think she could just fall over.
Right.
So next, the dad woke up. He woke up at 5:30 a.m., saw her legs, her still out on the balcony
asleep
with the door cracked, but he could see her legs sleeping out on the balcony. She was in there was two chairs, two loungers, and one side table or middle table. So then he woke up about 10 to 6 and didn't see her there. So her shirt was there on the chair, her shoes were on the deck, and he thought she was going to enter a contest for pictures, and she was big into taking pictures. So he thought she just went up to get the sunrise coming into Curacao and was taking pictures. So he didn't think much about it. He didn't see her after a few minutes. So he said, well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get up and go up to the deck and see if I can find her. So he went up on the deck and walked around everywhere where he thought she may be taking pictures and everything else, and he couldn't find her. So he comes back to the room, tells his wife. They get nervous about it, get upset about it. They all start looking for her. And then they go down to the customer service desk. It's been about 60 minutes now. And they're getting close to docking at this point. You could see Curacao already coming in. And the customer service desk told him, the parent said, hey, we want you to page for her. And it's too early in the morning. We can't page throughout the ship, into the rooms and everywhere else. Why don't y'all go look for about another 30 minutes, look everywhere you can, and then come back if you don't find her. So they did that. And then they came back at 7:30, and they said, okay, we'll make an announcement. And the parents were kind of saying, well, hey, don't let everybody off the ship. You don't need to let them dock. You need to keep everybody here. You need to search for her.
Yes.
And they were like, man, we can't do that. There's still over 2,000, almost 2,500 guests that want to get off and have their vacation. And
in their defense, lots of people.
And then they said, we don't even know what happened to her. We don't know if, she's somewhere else in somebody else's room. They really didn't know.
Right.
So the ship gets close to the dock. Parents went to the desk, said all that. So they heard the page. The parents heard the page go through the ship. And then at 9 a.m. in the morning, they still cannot find her. So the ship did what they call a Charlie drill, which is really a bomb search. And they had 800 to 900 crew members looking for this girl, Amy, and they could not find her. And the captain finally came back to the room and said, ma'am, family, we've searched everywhere. We've checked all the drawers everywhere we can, and that she's not there. And that, we're thinking that she may have jumped or fell overboard. And they were like, no way. There's no way that happened. The captain earlier, I do want to say this. He made some pretty haughty comments. And he said he had heard the rumor several days later that she was a good swimmer and that she was telling people she was going to jump over the ship and beat the ship back to Curacao docking. That's what he said he heard. Now, again, that's grapevine stuff. So they went into Curacao. The family kept looking for her. They looked for her in Curacao as well. They left at 5 or 6 o'clock that day, just like normal. The parents are still frantically trying to look for them. They brought the Coast Guard in. The guy said it was one of the biggest searches they've ever done in 1998 of her. They had divers, they had Marine, they had Navy.
Helicopters.
They had helicopters. They searched for her all day in Curacao and never could find her. And the guy that's in charge of that police said, listen, if she jumped over or she fell over, this is kind of awful. He said this, but it's true. He's like, we would have known by now. He says
there would be evidence.
There would be evidence. He said even there's sharks in this water. He said, but even if that happened, there would be body parts that came up on the shore. He says
clothing. He
said, I've seen this happen many times with other people out there, and something always comes back. Didn't happen this time. So on 3/25, the next day, this happened originally on 3/24. They said one thing to think about when you go on cruises is once you're 12 miles out, you're in international water. And they basically say it's a free-for-all.
Lawless.
One of the ladies that's on this show, she lost her daughter, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it was on, I guess it was a cruise, but she now volunteers and says that it's pretty lawless out there, and that no matter who it is, Carnival, Royal, whomever, they're going to hire their own security people for the ship. So there's always that thing of, are they trying to cover themselves too? So on 3/26, it is 2 days that she's been missing, and they're in St. Martin's. The FBI gets on the ship in St. Martin's. They take a water shuttle or tender to the ship. They come in. It was organized and well maintained. There were no signs of struggle. The room had been cleaned. One big mistake I think Royal did make on this is they cleaned the room.
So also the captain suggested that they stay in Curacao, and they went on to the next port. So the family stayed in Curacao, looked for her, and then flew into the next port.
Yep. Into
so
St. Thomas.
Their room was empty for an extended period
a couple
of time.
days.
Yes.
And they didn't put caution tapes up on it and not allow people. People came in there and cleaned it. The room's, attendants did. So the FBI looks at it. The room had been cleaned. The balcony, looked at the railing. They thought the railing was high. They didn't think she just fell over unless, she decided to jump over. It was a straight drop straight down to the water from there. So there wouldn't have been a deck below that she would have hit or anything like that. The two lounge chairs and tables seemed organized, but they thought, again, somebody came in there and cleaned it up. So
there's also word that the table, I heard also that the table was turned on its side. So I think there's,
somebody came in and cleaned, so you really don't know. I don't see pictures of what happened when they first came to it.
Correct.
So the key card information, Amy entered it. Okay, I already mentioned that, about 3:40 a.m. 5:30 she was on the balcony. 6 o'clock she wasn't. So they had a next door neighbor, a guy named Wayne Brittig, Breitag. He was a neighbor beside him. He was booked. He actually worked for the insurance company as well. He saw her at the disco at 2 a.m. He was a solo cruiser. He was back in his room at 2:30 a.m.
Creepy.
He heard nothing. After Amy was missing, neighbors said that his TV was very, very loud and kind of made a lot of noise in his room. So we'll bring up the other stuff later, Michelle. Okay. So guests saw her on the ship dancing with Yellow in the disco. That is the Alistair Douglas gentleman, the bass player. One guest was editing footage for a company, and he had a camera guy out there. And once he heard she was missing, he went through every bit of his film, and he's got footage of them dancing together in the disco.
Yes.
And the ship told him that he needed to send the main master copy to him.
And he said, was like,
nope, not sending it. So he made him a copy and sent it to him. Also, they said that Yellow got his nickname Yellow because he sometimes dyed his hair yellow. And that's just how he got his nickname over the years. So also they brought up that two girls that were 18 years old, they kind of looked up to Amy because they had met Amy earlier in the cruise, and she's 23 years old, got an apartment, got a puppy, and they kind of, they were getting ready to go to college, hopefully, and they kind of looked up to her. So they kind of paid attention to her. They saw her on the dance floor. They saw her around the ship. And those two girls said that Amy at the night at the nightclub, that she was, of course, dancing with Yellow, but between 5 and 6 a.m. they were on the balcony, and not the balcony, up on the kind of like the Lido deck, and they saw Amy and Yellow walk by them, get in the elevator, a glass elevator, and went up to the disco. And they said that they were gone for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then he came down by himself without Amy and walked right by them. And they said what was so funny about that is he was a dog. Yellow was a dog. He was flirting with the 18-year-olds, trying to hook up with them earlier on the cruise. And this time he didn't even say hello to them. He just walked by them and kept walking by. Yeah. So Yellow admitted, I was flirting with the girls. He said, that's, kind of what I do. He does remember her. He took a polygraph and it was non-conclusive. He acted like the FBI bothered him. That's what the FBI said. On March the 27th, 1998, 4 days missing in St. Thomas. They started a command center at home. The parents flew back to Virginia, started a command center from home. On episode number 2, this is all episode 1 I'm talking about. Episode 2, there is a gentleman that's in Puerto Maria, Curacao, and he's a diver, and he gets through diving and he comes back to the dock and he sees 3 people walking towards him at the beach. It's 2 men and a woman.
In between them.
Yeah, the woman's in between them. And he said when he got really close to him, he said he noticed a Tasmanian devil tattoo on her. Amy's got a Tasmanian devil tattoo. And she was also, let's see. Let me make sure I got this right here. Okay. Yeah. So he said the thing that bothered him most about that whole time seeing the 3 people was the guy stared him down. And when he saw lineup pictures or saw pictures of the potential people, he pointed out Yellow before they knew.
Yeah.
He never had seen pictures of Yellow before. So he told the FBI that that's the guy that stared me down. It was Yellow. This was, several months later. So the family went back to Curacao. And a lot of people don't know this. I'll kind of tell this now because they did not say this on Netflix. Amy actually had a boyfriend. Netflix never, now listen, I don't care what sexual preference you have. And Netflix did say that Amy came out that she was gay and her parents were upset about it. Her dad wrote a 3-page letter and was upset about it. And they were more concerned that it was the late 90s. It wasn't something normal and they were worried of the lifestyle that she would, live and the hate she would get in the community and stuff. But they did not mention on Netflix that 4 months prior to them going on the cruise, she had a boyfriend for 4 months.
Right.
We watched another interview today that Brad Bradley, this brother, said, and says, yeah, they never mentioned that because they were asking him, what are things you heard that was never mentioned in the Netflix series? So she actually had a boyfriend. He came back to Curacao, the boyfriend did, looking for her. So they were pretty involved. They were together for 4 months. And him and the brother and the dad, and then somebody else in the church or something came and helped out. So
they were speculating that she jumped overboard because she was depressed because her parents didn't accept her
as being gay. But they said what they failed to mention, he said he don't know why they did that kind of narrative on there, but they never mentioned she had a boyfriend. They never mentioned that he came looking back with them for her. So, I mean, you guys may have known that if you've kind of researched this a little bit more. So, so when they came back, a taxi driver told them in Curacao that, hey, she's alive. She just came to me. This is, I think, 9 months after everything had happened, I believe. Or no, this was just 3 or 4 weeks. I'm sorry. Things are getting crazy here. So he told her to go look in these certain areas. They got the police to go and they never could find anything. The dad did see some Tic Tacs in a place that she liked Tic Tacs, but really can't go anything off of that. So then 9 months after missing, on America's Most Wanted was on TV, and a gentleman by the name of David Carmichael says Amy was on a beach when he saw her. And that's the same guy, the yellow guy I was telling you about earlier. She played basketball at Longwood. Mm-hmm. That is Longwood.
She's very athletic, swimmer, basketball player.
They are thinking that, that maybe sex trafficking may have gotten involved with this as well. So the FBI does not believe she committed suicide, and they do not believe she jumped overboard. All right, so now we got January of 1999. This happened in 98. A guy named Bill Hefner from the Navy, had been in the Navy for many years, came up into, I think it was Bridgetown. Was it Bridgetown, Barbados? And was in a sketchy place. A sketchy place where he shouldn't have been. It was a prostitution place. And he went into the bar and he said 2 guys and 2 girls came downstairs. The guys had guns. They had 38s, he said. And one girl said, they are holding me against my will. He had been 18 years in the Navy and he was about to retire in a couple of years. He didn't want to rocked the boat. Plus, he wasn't supposed to be there. But he said point blank, one of the girls leaned over to him and said, "My name is Amy Bradley. I'm being held, without me wanting to be here." And now what she told them was, if I'm not mistaken, it's the same person. I don't know if I put that notes in here. I'm just remembering what she said. He told the FBI that Amy told him that she did get off the ship in Curacao,
drugs,
jumped off the ship, got to get drugs. Did she say she jumped off the ship? I may have missed that.
No, she got off the ship.
She got off the ship trying to score drugs, and then got picked up and couldn't get back on the ship.
Right.
Now he said he had no skin in the game.
No, he
watched Americans Most Wanted when he saw this, and he passed the lie detector test.
Right.
Now, I know that can't hold up in the court of law, but he did.
I mean, he was just feeling guilty all these years and came clean.
So another thing was kind of odd was they were looking for Amy's photos. They were going to buy them on the ship, the mother and actually Amy and Brad. And so what they did was when they were looking for their photos, they couldn't find the photos. And the guy with the photos said, "Oh yeah, your photo's right over here on the wall. We've all been on cruise ships. If you're in here, most of you have." And they just stick them up there for everybody to look at, and you're going through them looking for them. Mm-hmm. Well, none of hers were around, so they had them reprinted. A lot of this is they're thinking about after the fact what happened. So one of the last things, no, this is the one that happened in Barbados, Bridgetown. A lady had to go to the bathroom, and it was around 11 o'clock. And she went to the bathroom, and while she was in the bathroom, she heard these two guys arguing with a girl outside the door, going into the women's bathroom, and said, "The deal's going down at 11 o'clock. You better be ready." And she said she waited till the guys got the door shut. She got out. Another girl was beside her at the sink. And she said, try to do small talk with her. The girl didn't want to talk to her at all. Mm-hmm. And then finally, and the lady was crying. And then finally the lady told her, her name was Amy. And she said, "Oh, I got a daughter the same age, about the same age you, named Amy as well. Where are you from?" And she thought she said West Virginia. But she said maybe it was really Virginia. Maybe she just didn't know. She said it definitely was a Southern accent. So she said she backed her up to the wall. She got out of there. She just felt it was a bad situation. She had to get out of there. So another thing, too, that's odd is they brought Alistair Douglas's daughter contacted the Bradleys and said, "Hey, I just want to tell you something that my mom found a bag of photos of Caucasian women about Amy's age. I don't know why he kept them, why he had them, or what was going on, but she said that as well. So again, the FBI has investigated this. Now the Bradleys are kind of saying they feel like they're not helping them anymore.
Just wash their hands of it.
Yeah, they kind of wash their hands on it. So real quick, and then we're going to talk to people. Got 20 more minutes here to talk to you guys, and I'll try to go back up and see what you guys have said. Is the Brad said that the decking was open. The decking between the one gentleman's neighbor's room and their room was open. You could walk back and forth. It wasn't you looking over and peering over the side. He said that was not in the Netflix series. It wasn't, people say that you have to get the crew to come and unlock it. Said they never had that done, but it was open the whole time. Another theory.
Open to the side of the creepy guy.
Right. Another theory that Brad thinks has happened, and he said Netflix did not put this in the documentary, was a Scientology theory. Now, listen, if you believe in Scientology, that's you.
Sorry.
Yeah. I'm not sorry. I mean, you believe what you believe, right?
No, I'm just saying we don't mean to insult you.
I don't believe in Scientology, but hey, you believe what you want to believe. So Brad's theory was there's two girls that were talking to Amy at the disco the night before, or up on the deck. And
for a long time.
Right. And so when they got to, I think it was Curacao, they said they asked for a pastor or a priest or somebody to come, and they couldn't find one.
Because they were totally distraught.
Because they were distraught and they were wanting to talk to a pastor or, you know, a priest or somebody. And they said all of a sudden at 2 a.m. in the morning, two gentlemen came in a captain's type outfit and said they were from the Free Winds ship. And
weird.
Yeah, at 2 a.m. in the morning. So they started talking to them. And then they said the two gentlemen started having them do, it's called nerve assist, where they all lay down and they touch them and they say, make them say certain things.
Weird
and finally
crap.
the dad got upset and said, listen, we need to finish this. Y'all need to go. And he made them leave. So this is, 2:33 in the morning. But they feel like that the two girls, they went back and looked at the Scientology and those on the Free Winds crew, and they had matching outfits. He said they were all blue outfits, kind of like, what Michelle's wearing, all blue. She's not a Scientologist, but
no, a nurse.
But he said he feels like there's something could be there, and it's like they're being protected, like Scientology is being protected. But that ship, if you go to Aruba, it's parked in Aruba, and it does make frequent travels to Curacao and Bonaire, and then it docks all the time in Aruba. That's the one that Tom Cruise was on. There's been documentaries where
we've seen it multiple times.
Yeah, there's documentaries where the staff has been, has broken loose, and they kind of talk about work slavery, religious slavery. But I'm gonna quit talking here and kind of let you guys.
Which one did we watch where it said that how valuable young white females are? Was it Curacao that they had a bad history of sex trafficking?
Oh yeah, I didn't realize this, but they said Curacao in the late 90s is very close to Venezuela, and sex trafficking is really high crime. Also, they had the mafia there, and that they had a lot of land strips set up where planes and stuff could come in with drugs, sex trafficking. They would take the people from Curacao and take them to Venezuela.
Young white
kind of like the Epstein Island
thing,
probably. I don't know. I mean, it's bad
very
stuff.
Valuable.
And actually, I think in Epstein Island, close to Venezuela, kind of close to all this stuff. So, listen, all these are speculations. But this is a crazy, crazy story. Hello, Anthony. How you doing? Good to see you in here.
Hey.
And Teapot's in here. Good to see you. I probably missed quite a few of you. So the poll looks like it's 53% of you have not heard about this. So again, I highly
go watch it.
Even if you don't have Netflix, you can go look up Amy Bradley.
It's all over
on YouTube, and there'll be a lot of shows and crime dramas that have come up. So we're at 53% no, and 47% yes, they have heard about this. So most of you not. So in the description of this video, if you're just so happen to be watching this on a replay, if you're watching this on a replay, the information to the FBI, yeah, I'm a fat white guy too. Nobody wants us. But in this description of this video is a link to the FBI if you do have information. We're also going to go back and add information for the family's research, their website as well. I don't have a lot of information on here on the third part, but there was another part where back in 2005, I believe, they found a sex trafficking website that had a picture of Amy as well. And somebody had sent it to them and said, hey, this is her, I think. Well, they did the FBI had forensic analysis do a search on it, and they said it was her. According to theirs, they were feeling like it was her. So a lot of crazy stuff in this case, but these poor parents still have her car from back then in their garage. It's polished, buffed up, gassed up, ready to go whenever she comes home. They don't feel like she's gone. She may be, she may not be. But I'm going to put a poll in here now and let you guys give us, what do you think happened to her? And
you know how easy it would be for staff on the crew on the ship, if there were a handful of them that worked together to drug her, get her into a private place. They're taking, crates, and they're taking, stuff on and off the ship. I mean, it wouldn't be hard for them to get her off at all.
You keep talking. I'm going to type these up.
I'm trying to think of other things.
And if people bring up stuff in here, bring it, read it out loud as well. Well, I need that.
Well, I won't touch it then.
Well, just read it.
But the pictures that they had shown, I mean, she had long hair, and I don't know, they weren't like the best quality pictures either. So some of them did look like they could certainly be her. Some I don't know. But the brother said that there were many more pictures that we didn't get to see that they had sent. Trying to think what else the brother had mentioned that they didn't say.
So it's only let me put 4 things here. I got about 6 things here. But what do you think happened to Amy? Do you think it was human trafficking, abduction, foul play, accident or fell over, or suicide? And there's about 6. Now, what I did is ran this through AI, and I've got 6 categories here that I asked it to give us the odds of what really happened to Amy Bradley, researching all the data that it could find, and tell us what it thought the odds were or percentages were of what really happened to her. And we're getting ready after a few minutes here to tell you what AI thinks happened to Amy Bradley. But listen, we want closure for this family. We do this. We love crime drama anyway, and it's not we're trying to glorify crime, but these people need some closure in their life. They're, and it's 27 years, and there may not ever be an answer to this. But you never know. I mean, we've seen things within the last few years where children that were abducted when they were very young, 20 years later, come back and come to find out that, they were abducted and the parents raised them. There was also thoughts that Amy could be in a situation where they are holding children she's had over her head and threatening her, saying
she's just too scared,
and saying that, hey, if you do anything or try to say anything, we'll kill your kids. That's also been brought up as well. So it's a really ugly situation.
Yeah, Tom and Brenda. Yeah, the pictures were 7 years later, so plenty of time for her to have aged and her hair to get longer, and so yeah, I mean, it's super sad. It's super
right. And another thing, what they said was really interesting on the 3rd episode was that they noticed the same place the lady was in Barbados, in Bridgetown, Barbados, I believe, that ran into her in the bathroom. And she said, my name's Amy. And she said, West Virginia. And really, maybe it was Virginia. That every year on Christmas, Thanksgiving, and her birthday, and her parents' birthdays, I believe, or her birthday, numerous hits are coming from that Bridgetown, Barbados, hitting their website looking for her. I mean, what's the odds of that?
That's so weird.
That's weird. Why would somebody in Bridgetown, Barbados, on her birthday and on Thanksgiving and on Christmas be researching that website? It just sounds a little odd. I did say Joel earlier said that was probably a $200 scam in the prostitution thing. And the guy said, yeah, he had ran into situations like that in Korea and in Asia and some other places, Singapore, and but he did not feel like that was the situation in this, but it definitely could have been. Who knows?
Yeah.
So we're looking at 63% so far are saying human traffic, abduction, foul play, 26%, accident fell over, 0%, and suicide is coming in at 11%. So
I just don't think that she killed herself. I think she had so much to live for.
Yeah, that's a good question, Alan Genie. We don't know, and that's why the guy said it's a theory of his. But he thought that maybe they had 2 recruiters. The 2 girls were recruiters for Scientology. That they
sailing on
they
the
went
ship?
to Aruba, they went to Curacao, and they talk about how great and how beautiful it is. And it's like, well, hey, you know what? We got a ship here, the Free Winds, and you could work on the ship and be part of our Scientology group.
No, but how did they get on the cruise ship? Were they?
I think they were sailing on it for the whole week. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they didn't just get on. They were on there the whole time. But he said the FBI and Netflix did not want to.
They just poo-pooed it.
They kind of poo-pooed it out, which, I'm sure they have reasons why they did.
Oh, we forgot to. We forgot to mention that they have on the ship. They have like a chat board thing that on the ship that they said for Yellow to watch out for him. No, it was
actually Brad, the brother, on the show we saw today, said Netflix did not say this, but when they got back to the United States and were investigating what was going on, they found a website for the Rhapsody of the Seas, like a forum for it. And people that had been on that ship prior to that sailing were all voicing their concerns. Stay away from Yellow. Stay away from the bass player in the band. He is dangerous. He's and also it's something we didn't bring up earlier. Amy, when she came in and was with her brother on the balcony, he didn't mention his name, but he knew who it was because he saw her dancing with her and saw him talking. But she made a comment that a band member had made a physical approach to her that was unwarranted and she did not want.
Yeah, she did not appreciate it.
Right. And another thing the brother Brad said was the morning of, and this was not in the Netflix as well. I think it said a little bit about it, but it didn't go into details about it. He said when he was on the balcony, when he was looking for his sister, and he was up on kind of like the Lido area balcony, not the balcony in his room. He said he took a moment and sat down and was just trying to think through everything. And then he said, all of a sudden, Yellow walked up to him and said, "Hey, man," I said, "I just want to let you know." And he said this was this was at 7 o'clock in the morning she went missing. Before it had been announced on the ship yet. Mm-hmm. He said at 7 o'clock in the morning, Yellow came up to him and said, "Man, I'm sorry for your sister. You know,
for what happened to your sister.
For what happened to your sister."
Nobody knew about it. And they didn't know anything about it. He's a
young, 21-year-old kid. He didn't really think about it. He goes, "Yeah, I appreciate it, man." And he didn't know they hadn't announced it. They had not announced it yet. So then he said Yellow started asking him about timeline. So he started telling him the timeline. And then Yellow goes, "Wait a minute. Let me go get one of my buddies here." So he went back to like 4 or 5 guys, brought one of them over with him and said, "Yeah, go ahead and finish your story." So he said, "I wasn't thinking about it. I'm 21 years old and my sister's missing." He said, "I gave Yellow my whole timeline.
So they could cooperate."
He said, "So they could go cooperate. You know, he could make up his timeline to get him out of trouble." So he said, "I made a big mistake by doing that."
And you're right, Paul. That is weird that the waiter asked where she was.
Yeah, where she was at. And what did y'all say earlier? Could the family have posted at the ship's exit when it first docked after she? They could have, but I think they were trying to find her on the ship, I believe.
Right.
And then they also got off the ship themselves. Mm-hmm. One person that made the comment that she could have easily been drugged. She was a small girl, even though she was 5'6".
She was very slim.
She could have been drugged and then put in a suitcase. And the crew members on the ship are always going on and off with suitcases, bags, going into town, getting supplies and bringing it back on the ship. They said that could have happened. So I mean, there's a lot of possibilities there.
And I don't know at what point in time have ships always logged, when you go in on and off, you have to badge your thing in. I mean, has that always been the case? Because they would have record of her going on and off the ship if she went out on her own.
All right, so guys, I know we've talked a lot tonight, and I'm going to go back and watch this tomorrow so I can see all your comments on there, and I may comment underneath the chat on this, but I want to tell you what AI says. Okay. So, according to you guys, 67% said human trafficking or abduction, 24 votes so far, 67 human traffic abduction, foul play 21%. So 88% of you think something odd happened. Accident fell over 4%, suicide 8%. Okay, I'm going to end that poll, and we're real quick going to go over all the information. Yeah, I talked the whole time. All right, I'm going to start at the lowest and work our way up.
Because
there's 6 categories here. At 2%, and this is according to AI and what the odds are based off all the things that's found out on the internet. 2% suicide.
Very little.
You guys said 8%, so it's pretty close still. Voluntary disappearance, 3%. Kidnapped at the port in Curacao, 5%. All right, we're going up to our top 3 things here. Accident fell over, 15%. And if you look at the odds, if you really look at the odds of that, I think even in the Netflix series or something, maybe I ran it through AI. It said it's
very little,
like 0.001% chance of falling over, or even including the suicide for all ships. It was like
very little. Those rails are too high.
Yeah. All right. So foul play by the crew member, 25%. and abduction and human trafficking, 50% chance.
Yep.
So according to the AI, it thinks there is a 75% chance that foul play by a crew member or abduction and human trafficking took place. 15% fell overboard, 5% kidnapped, 3% volunteer, 2% suicide. So very interesting to see this. I mean, I just hate it for the family. And
I told Anthony.
Bob Bradley, if you ever see this, you want to come on and tell us your side of it, we'd love to have you on and let you, be a voice, or any of your family members or anything. I mean, I know you're probably not going to watch this, but the whole reason for this show is if there is that one person, if there is a crew member that has came on our previous shows and said, hey, I was on there and this is what really happened. There is
I heard this.
There is the FBI hotline link in the description of this video, and we're also going to add the mothers as well. So yeah, you're right. Teapot says human trafficking is a real problem and people just aren't aware of it. It's really bad. I mean, it really is. That and small kids. I mean,
and I told Anthony, now that I hear this, I don't care how.
Yeah, Michelle told Anthony this, you're not going on the ship by yourself no more. You got to stay with us. So he'll be 29 years old and still with Mama walking.
Hold my hand.
Put her pickup. Yeah, she's on the thumbnail of this video. I don't have a thing I can show up. Maybe I can find something real quick. You think I can, Michelle?
Sure. You got 2 minutes.
Got 2 minutes to find a picture of Amy Bradley.
It won't be hard. And
what she looks like. And she is on the thumbnail as well. This is actually the FBI. So if you're an FBI agent and you see me clicking on this, this is a show and we're not doing anything we shouldn't be doing here.
It's got age.
Yeah. I don't want the FBI showing up in here. Let's see. So here is a picture of her. It's not the greatest quality.
Grainy. Yeah.
There's also a place here on the website. This is FBI's most wanted website. We're going to get zapped. We're going to have 2 o'clock in the morning. The FBI's going to coming in here. This also has her age, what she would look like, nowadays. And there's also a video on here from, I think it's America's Most Wanted, but this is what Amy looks like. And she, again, is on maybe what she looks like nowadays, but she is on the thumbnail of our, and I will put a link. I've already got the FBI, but I will put a link into her family's website as well, because they have a forum there. And on that forum, there's constantly people communicating that are helping as volunteers. And there's other people, giving thoughts like, hey, I think she was seen this date or whatever, going on. But
this was just too fast.
Yeah, I know we talked a whole lot, and I do want to encourage you to go watch the Netflix series if you can. If you can't, search this up on YouTube. If you're watching this on a replay, again, we have no skin in the game. We just want to help people out and help the family get some closure and bring awareness to it. Yeah. So if you have an opportunity, and when you're in these other islands and stuff, be careful. Make sure you know where you're going, and you go in pairs. You don't just go out single, because this stuff's real and it does happen. And when you're on that cruise ship and you're 12 miles out, it is security of the ship. It's not security of the land. And they're going to look out for their best interests. I promise you that.
Yep, that's true.
All right, guys, you have a good one. And
thank you.
We'll see you next Thursday.
Take care.
Bye.